What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Yala Poppy from simphunter.com. And in this video, I am going to talk to you about what it is like to do OFM as an older gentleman. I myself have reached the golden age of 40. Yes, am I middle-aged? Holy shit, I'm a middle-aged man. That's pretty crazy. So anyway, I mean, it just happens to you one day. You wake up and you got gray hair and wrinkles on your face and your back hurts for some reason. And it is what it is. It's going to happen to you too. I know you don't want to hear it. You're like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. And that's what I said when people said it to me. And look, here I am talking about what it's like to be an old man. So not only am I an old man, but I'm an old man who does OFM. And as an old man who does OFM, I believe that there are certain pros and cons of doing OFM as a gentleman of advanced age, as I am. And in this video, I'm going to talk about them. Maybe it'll be useful to you. Maybe it won't. I don't really know. So the first pro, let's start with the pros. The first pro of doing OFM at an older age is that you are more mature. Now, maturity brings with it, I would argue, wisdom. Why is this important? Now, this really, okay, there are some business applications to this. There are interpersonal benefits to this as well. But really the benefit of maturity is experience, okay? The reason one matures is because one acquires more experience. You live through more, time passes, you do stuff, get up day after day, you go through life, you acquire experiences, you take chances, things work out, things don't work out. And as a result of all of that experience, it makes you, I guess, more calm, I guess. What is really maturity anyway? It's kind of hard to define. But how I would define it is that you just become more calm and more wise because you've already seen different variations of the stuff that younger people are going through before already. For example, I'll tell you a story. I'm a lot of people come to me and ask me for advice, right? It's just, I don't know why. It's always been a thing. People always ask me for advice, not necessarily business advice, although that does happen sometimes. But usually what I found is that the advice they ask me for usually has to do with them and some other person, right? I'm not sure why. Maybe that's all advice. All problems really come down to you and somebody else not seeing eye to eye. Anyway, long story short, I find myself helping people get through issues. Anyway, I don't want to get fucking the whole spiel here, but the point is that when you're more mature and you do OFM, because there's a lot of problems, right? This is a people-heavy business. And this isn't even to say anything about being involved in the Telegram community. Because now that I think about it, right, the more I think about it, to me, it's hard to divorce the idea of OnlyFans management from the Telegram communities that exist. For me, it's the same, right? There's no difference almost. In fact, I would even argue sometimes that the agency is just an extension of the community, really. And it's weird for me to say that, and I've never actually put that to words before, but I'm sure maybe that's not the case for everybody else. But for me, that is the case. And, a lot of what I find myself doing is communicating with other people about OFM. As far as me actually working on the agency, I mean, I have been doing that a lot lately, the past couple of months, because I've been taking it more seriously than I did before. But a very big chunk of my time is talking with other people about OFM. Either I'm trying to work with them, or trying to collaborate on something, or I'm helping them with something, or they're helping me with something, or they're buying something from me. There's a lot of talk about it that goes into it. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I have people who are doing the work that I used to do for me, the stuff that I don't want to do. So anyway, what I'm trying to get to here is that when you are more mature, you develop better people skills, usually, because you have had more social interactions over the course of your life. You have been through many experiences and you know how to navigate those social interactions much better. I'll give you an example, right? So I am a super famous OFM celebrity influencer. Everybody loves me and knows who I am and fucking sends me roses every day. But jokes aside, like I am one of the more visible people in OFM. And as a result, there are some individuals, shocking as it may sound, who actually don't like me. It's crazy to me. Like I told my mom and she's like, what? People don't like you? That's insane. And I showed her the chats and she's like, wow, that's crazy. Now, the younger me, now this may shock you, but the younger me, I was very hot-headed. I had a very bad temper. I loved confrontation. I loved conflict. And like, I didn't care. I would fucking mix it up with anybody. It did not matter to me at all. I don't know. Can you relate to that? You probably can. But now, after having been through so much conflict, it doesn't really appeal to me anymore. I avoid the conflict. In the past, I would like answer these people and I would fucking try to fight them and I would try to prove why I'm right and they're wrong and why I'm good and they're bad. This has nothing to do with OFM, does it? Fuck. Anyway, why does it make you better at OFM? I don't know. Let's move on to the next one. Anyway, reason number 2, you have more professional experience. Okay, this is a good one. So if you have more professional experience as an adult male, I'm 40 years old. I've been working for 20-ish years on and off. I took some time off, but like, what is my professional experience? Me personally. Now, before I get into that, I'll tell you that I made another video about how to find your unique advantage for your OnlyFans agency. You should definitely go watch that video because it will relate to what I'm going to say right now. However, for me, the bulk of my professional experience had nothing to do with fucking getting subscribers, driving traffic to a girl's fucking OnlyFans page where she would sell, videos of her doing adult things. My professional background had nothing to do with that. Zero. Yeah, zero. Like it's a stretch to say that anything that I did was even like related to that by 2 or 3 degrees of separation. What was my professional background? Okay. Well, I worked in a fucking veterinary clinic. I worked in fucking restaurants. I was in the military. I fucking sold hair straighteners for a long time. I did some internet marketing. Well, I sold advertising packages through Google AdWords, but like none of that necessarily has anything to do with recruiting girls and getting them traffic and selling content via subs or via chatters. I mean, yes, I guess you could say that the sales helped a little bit, the sales experience. But regardless of that, the combination of all of the different jobs that I had, all of the professional experience that I had, lent itself in some way to me getting better at this through very unexpected ways. I'll give you an example. One of the things that I did. Now, I mean, love it or hate it, right? I know that I get a lot of flack for like not being the best in the world at, making Tinder accounts or like doing all the work myself. But I think it's fucking awesome that I don't have to do all the work myself and my agency fucking makes a ton of money. I think that's fucking cool. I think I'm so proud of the fact that I have been able to do as much as I've done and accomplish what I've accomplished, despite the fact that like, if you threw me in the fucking forest and like wiped everything out of mine and said, okay, now you have to like start an OnlyFans agency and start from scratch and get back to where you are right now, and you can't get any help from anybody, I'd be totally fucked. I'd be massively, hugely fucked. But I have managed to achieve what I have achieved, regardless of the fact that I'm not necessarily an expert in any one of the facets of OnlyFans management. I guess you could say I'm good at management and I'm good at recruiting, but like the main things, traffic and chatting, and I guess I'm also good at chatting. Maybe traffic is just kind of what I don't have the stomach for, to be honest with you. But traffic is very important, right? And historically, I haven't been good at all of the stuff for OnlyFans management. I believe that if I stick with it, like eventually I'll nail the traffic stuff too, but I don't need to be good at traffic. There's ways to make money with OnlyFans management where you're not good at traffic. It is what it is. You can get affiliates. You can go to Crack Revenue. You can fucking find creators that already have traffic. Like you can partner with somebody who's really good at traffic. You can use fucking paid ads. You can do all kinds of shit, right? There's tons of options out there. And I think it's pretty fucking amazing that I have managed to cobble together a pretty nice looking, for me. I mean, I'm not like the best in the world. The agency isn't the biggest in the world. But if I told you how much we're making every month, it's a very respectable number. Like it's sizable. Don't let my, unkempt appearance and, not super impressive apartment fool you. Like, we do okay. And aside from that, I have money coming in from other sources. I have lots of little things that are popping up now. I have Trend Hunter. I have a model marketplace. I'm in talks to do fucking other stuff too that's going to bring in money for me. And I managed to do all of this with my professional background as a fucking hair straightener salesperson, which is what I did more than all of my other jobs combined. Somebody calling me? What the fuck is this bullshit, dude? Somebody is calling me. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's just going to keep recording. So you're just going to have to listen to my voice while I have that stupid look on my face. There we go. Now we're back. Anyway, rant aside, the point is that as an older man, you have more professional experience, and you can draw from that professional experience to help you in your agency. For example, I have drawn from my writing ability, right? I like to write. I've always liked to write. I've had blogs before. I would sit down and sometimes write a fucking blog and nobody would ever see it just because I enjoy the process. And I've been able to leverage that into becoming a known person. I have a great blog. Everybody knows who I am. People go, they look at that. They're like, wow, this guy's the real deal. I have 1,000 YouTube videos on another channel that I never talk about, but all of that practice making YouTube videos allowed me to smoothly transition into making YouTube videos about OFM to where I can just sit and talk bullshit and come up with ideas and, upload them and write the descriptions and all that shit. And I was able to work it in, which allowed me to meet people who could fucking take my agency to the next level, despite the fact that I couldn't like do it on my own, that I didn't want to do it on my own. Does that make me a bad person? I know a lot of people hate me because of that, but like, sorry, I guess, like, my bad. I don't know. Anyway, again, this doesn't really have much to do with being a 40-year-old man. I guess the point is that when you're older, you have more options because you can draw on a wider breadth of personal experience, on professional experience that you have. I had done a lot. When I say that I sold to women, when I sold hair straighteners, who the fuck do you think buys hair straighteners? There's no dudes buying hair straighteners. I sold to dudes maybe once every 3 months. A guy would, but not even once every 3 months. Once every fucking 6 months, I would get a guy and be like, "Oh, I want to buy that. I need to get one for my wife." Okay, great. I can't do a demo on him. I'm not going to try to stop him. There's no point because the men don't see the value. You have to sell to the women. So what that means is that every day, all day, sometimes for 11 hours a day, 6 days a week, when I worked in the United States for a couple of years, I was trying to fucking stop women and do my little sales pitch to women and overcome objections with women, which is much different than men. So I learned how to communicate with women in that way, in that specific way. And I was able to use that I used it in my management, which I'm very good at managing models. Like all the models that work with me love me, regardless of how much money we make. Some of the models there are some who were a little bit mad. I will say that. But I was able to retain models for a very long time, despite the fact that many of them didn't make any money, especially in the beginning, just because I was so good with them, which I learned through selling fucking hair straighteners. Like, what? And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had not done it for so long. Hence the fact that professional experience will help you. Now, if you have experience as a software developer, if you have experience running Facebook ads, if you have experience in a field that is more directly applicable to OnlyFans management, I did not. But if you do, so much the better. You can and you should draw on that experience. Pro number 3, and this is kind of related to the last sort of rant I went on, and that is that you are better with women. Usually. I mean, I'm sure there's guys who get to their 40s and have the same amount of experience with women that they have in their 20s. And I understand that the newer generation is not interacting with women as much, I guess. I don't know. I just know what the headlines say. I think it's overblown, to be honest with you. But maybe it's not. I don't know. But I've slept with my fair share of women, and I live in Miami. It's easy to meet people in Miami. But over the course of my life, I'm always trying to improve my game and talk to girls, and you get better and you learn how to talk to them. Not saying I'm fucking perfect by any means. I still say a bunch of dumb shit sometimes. I'm like, fuck, why did I say that? Or send a stupid text message and I'm like, God damn it. Like immediately after you send it, you're like, fuck. But that's much harder than like managing a girl. Managing women is much easier than trying to date them, I guess. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It depends. But anyway, the point is that you are, for the ones who are like committed to working with you, let's say the easy leads, it's easier to manage them when you are older. And not only that, but like I would say, I could be totally wrong because I haven't tried this as a fucking, 20-year-old. But I would argue that girls are more likely to trust you if you're older, just because you're going to come across as more confident and more mature. And she's like, okay, well, this guy is fucking 40. He probably knows what he's doing, other than the guy like who's 20 and talks like he just fucking came out of a rap video, right? Like, and again, I'm not saying all 20-year-olds do this. What I've noticed is that younger guys, they use a lot more slang in professional situations. And I don't think that's a good idea if you're interested in conversions. Not everybody, of course. But like if you're interested in converting as much business as possible, yes, stay true to yourself and all that. But like you can talk in the common tongue. You know what I mean? You don't have to talk like you're talking to your friends in high school, especially if you want to come across as professional. Anyway, that said, I think that's something that men who are of a certain age are more aware of, because we have had it fucking thrown in our face many times that like you need to act differently around women. You need to present a certain persona around women, that you can't act that way around your guy friends. And maybe younger guys, they don't have quite as much life experience in order to do that. Again, not everybody. I know there's some fucking Don Juans out there who are young and crushing it with girls and fucking know all this shit already. Everything I'm saying, don't listen to me. But in general, when you get older, you'll get better with women. It is what it is. Number 4, the fourth pro, is that you have less tolerance for bullshit. Now, this kind of comes from being more mature. Less tolerance for bullshit. Now, this could also be a con, technically. However, I would argue that it's a pro, because you will exit situations that do not empower you or do not favor you much faster than somebody who's younger and doesn't have that experience, right? For example, I've been jerked around many times professionally. Forget about women. I've been jerked around professionally. I've been lied to professionally. I've been scammed professionally. I've been taken advantage of by business partners professionally before getting into OFM. I've been through all that. So I came into OFM with that experience. And if something that like triggered my alarm bells happened, I was able to look at it and reference those previous experiences and be like, oh, okay, this is like that other time. And before, like I got fucked over because I didn't do this. So now I'm going to do this other thing and it's going to be better. Now this is something that will happen to you. And I'm not, I'm new to like one-man show business, although I guess I'm not a one-man show anymore. But like full-time 7 days a week business, I'm new to that, I guess. So anyway, the point is that the more you are in this industry, the more you in this business or any business, the less tolerance for bullshit you will have, which is why you'll probably notice that like entrepreneurs, they tend to come off kind of as assholes sometimes. That's at least what I noticed when I started out. All my friends that had businesses, I was like, man, why is this guy such a dick? Why is he such a fucking asshole? Why has he got such a short temper? Why can't he just see it like this? And the reality is that because he's been through so many different interactions where somebody acted like that and he kind of saw what was coming, he had no patience for it. So less tolerance for bullshit will help you get out of bad situations faster than if you don't have that experience, which comes with age. Now, what are the cons? Okay, so the first con, because it's not all pros, the first con is that you don't want to work as hard, okay? Now, I make no attempt to hide the fact that there are certain things about OFM that I just do not like doing and I do not want to do. For example, I do not want to sit on fucking Reddit all day and make Reddit posts. I do not want to fucking make Twitter accounts. I do not want to fucking do all of this like black hat social media botting myself. I'll do it where necessary, but I do not want to do it. And now the industry has grown and it's matured to the point where like, it's just a given that you're going to have VAs, right? But back then when I started, it wasn't a given. And like hiring a VA was this fucking novel concept of like, oh, how do I hire a VA? How do I do that? There was no OFM jobs group with 20,000 fucking VAs in it that you could just go and like throw a rock and hit 25 of them. It was a different game back then. And like, you know, you had to do it all on your own. And there's still, I'm sure, a lot of people today that do it all on their own. Now, in a sense, it's kind of, I don't know. Anyway, the point is that when you get older, and it's not just about that, right? When you get older, you don't want to work as hard. You've done the all-nighters. You've done the fucking grind phase in many things before. And you just don't, I mean, you can work as hard, like physically, I can work as hard as I was working before. But like, you just kind of lose the appetite for it. Like regardless of how much money you have too, regardless of how much you're making or how much you need the money. Yes, of course you can fucking grab your balls and suck it up and fucking do it anyway. If you have the discipline and you have, you know, that ability, which I think I do. But like at the end of the day, I just didn't want to do a lot of stuff that was necessary to do in OFM to make it work. So whereas if I was, you know, 21 and I hadn't fucking already burned myself out selling fucking hair straighteners for 13 years, grinding in the mall and fucking going through the army, which was a fucking grind and a half also, I can complain about that. But like, is it an excuse? No. But bottom line, if I hadn't gone through those extremely tedious, soul crushing experiences, I could have made fucking making Tinder accounts on, you know, my phone, the soul crushing, boring experience. When you come in as a younger person, you're more fresh, right? You don't have the like, I hate to use this word because it's fucking gay, but like, you don't have the trauma of all of the extremely boring, soul crushing, what am I doing with my life experiences that somebody who is older and has had shitty jobs and has had dead end, you know, careers and all that shit had to go through. So bottom line is that when you're older, you just don't really want to work as hard. And it's a challenge. I'm not saying you can't. You can still do it, but you don't want to as much. Of course, if you have the right reasons, you can fucking do it anyway. But like all things being equal, you're older, you don't necessarily want to work as hard. Just saying. Con number 2 is that you may struggle with the tech. Okay. So many of you who are younger, all of you who are younger, you have basically grown up with Snapchat. You've grown up with TikTok. You've grown up with the fucking smartphone in your pocket that you can open and Google shit, and fucking now like kids are growing up with ChatGPT, and in the future, who the fuck knows what it's going to be. When I was growing up, back in my day, we had fucking, there was no internet. First of all, I remember a time before the internet, there was TV and that was it. And shitty TV. There were like 50 channels. I sound so fucking old. Anyway, the internet came out and there was a fucking dial-up modem. You couldn't use the phone. There were no cell phones, right? Or there were, but like only rich people had them. Or people had like a phone in their car. To use the internet, nobody could be on the phone in your house, right? Like you needed a separate line for the internet because it worked on the fucking phone line before Ethernet, right? And it was slow, and there was fucking America Online, and that was it. And like you could only go where America Online wanted you to go. It was like a closed system. And then there's fucking smartphones, and then there's all this shit. So I've seen the development of the internet over my life. And now, like, fortunately, I had a fucking computer when I was young. So when tech started to speed up and it became ubiquitous in the world, I was able to transition smoothly, and I can use a smart. My fucking 85-year-old dad still doesn't know how to text. He doesn't know how to use a cell phone. Like, he looks at it and he's like, just fucking pressing shit randomly, and like he has no idea. And like, I'm not that extreme. Obviously, I know how to use tech. I know how to use a computer. I know how to use a cell phone. But the stuff that wasn't around like when I started is like a new thing that I have to learn. And I just didn't, I kind of missed that opportunity. Like Snapchat. I never really like, I don't know why I never fucking started using Snapchat. But like, I just never did. And it hindered me in OFM because I got into Snapchat late. Snapchat is a massive opportunity. If you can crack that code, there's tons of money there. But because I never like did it, and I was not that like, I mean, I could have fucking opened up Snapchat and fucking figured it out, right? It's not that hard. It's fucking like 3 buttons. But I never did. And it was this like block of like, oh, I have to like do this new thing that I don't know how to do, which is just an excuse. I know. But the bottom line is that when you get older, There are things that you are going to have to learn that the younger people just take for granted. Like young people, they know how to use Snapchat. You open up Snap, you have all your friends on there, you fucking send snaps to girls, like all this shit. You just fucking boom, 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 you do it. So there may be some things with tech that you struggle with. Now, ChatGPT, on the other hand, I'm fucking great at ChatGPT. That's easy, but that's the written word, and I'm better with the written word than I am with pictures. And then the third con is that it is harder to teach an old dog new tricks. Now, this is kind of related to the last one. It's kind of related to tech, but like as you get older, you get used to doing things in a certain way, right? You get used to a certain schedule. You get used to eating in a certain way, to working out in a certain way. You want your lifestyle to be a certain way. As you get older, because you have the habits ingrained much deeper in your personality, they become harder to change. So for example, I mean, it's common sense, right? Let's say you're 20 years old and you're kind of just really beginning your life outside of high school. You still aren't really sure like the type of person that you're going to be. And I know people used to say that to me when I was young, and I was like, you're fucking stupid. Of course I know who I am. Of course I know who I'm going to be. I had no idea. If you like asked me further than that, I would have no idea. But you think you know. But the reality is that because you have so little life experience as a free human in the world, meaning outside of high school, outside of your parents' house, supporting yourself financially on your own, you are less... the grooves in your personality track, let's say, are not as deep as if you had been fucking running those grooves for 10 years, right? Now, I was lucky in that I lived a very dynamic life until 2020 when COVID hit, and my dad had a stroke like 2 months before COVID. And up until he had a stroke, my life was basically traveling to a different country, working in that country for a few months, saving money, and then traveling to another country and spending all my money, saving it, like trying to make it last for 6 months or something. And then starting the entire process over again. That is basically how I lived my entire life after I got out of the Army. And what that allowed me to do is, number one, go visit a lot of countries. Number two, go on a lot of vacations. Number three, meet a lot of people. But it always kind of like kept me starting over in life, which is not, there's some cons to that as well. Maybe I'll make a video about that one day, but like there's some cons to that as well. Obvious ones being like I lived out of a fucking suitcase for 15 years. It's not easy to do, right? I had no stuff, which is why I don't particularly care. I mean, there's definitely perks to having like a really fancy place with a lot of cool shit in it, especially in Miami. But like, it doesn't really bother me too much. What does bother me is all these fucking cell phones giving me fucking super cancer. But, so anyway, the point is that everywhere I went, I had to start over. I had to learn new shit. I had to learn about the city. I had to learn about the mall. I had to learn about, the people that I was working with. I had to reset myself and all the dynamics over and over again. Whereas if you compare that to my lifestyle in Miami over the past 9 months, it's been pretty much the same. I haven't really had to innovate too much. Like I have my gym, I have the place that I go to work, I have my fucking grocery store, I have like people that I talk to, I have friends here and there, but like it's all been pretty much the same. I live in the same place, I drive the same car, I fucking go to the same places, and there's no reset factor. Why the fuck am I talking about this? I don't know. This video had nothing to do with the title of the video, but anyway, I am done talking about it because it is 7 o'clock in the evening and I am hungry. So I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy some food. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe and share it with your friend, and I will see you in the next one.